go to my channel. We'll be right back in around 2 minutes. Alright, what is up everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're leaving it up to you. Let me know what you want to check out. Currently I'm watching this Dogecoin price action. If you're watching our live video yesterday, I did get into this trade in the middle of the live video and I got in around 17.4 and got out at 19.997. So it was a solid little 120% move because it was a 10-time leverage trade on futures. So I got out. I'm looking to see if price wants to fall a little bit more. To show you what I'm looking for, it would be based on the Fibonacci retracement. If we started from the bottom of this move and came up, I want to see if we can get a price touch around this 18-cent area before I get back in. Now this might continue to push up. If it does, it's fine. This is when you can't let FOMO get a hold of you, because half of me wants to get in and get more gains because I just hit a massive gain on it, but the other half of me wants to make sure that I'm securing my risk and making sure I'm getting at the right times, not trading with emotion. So we're going to let this ride. Even if it gets to around 18.6, we're going to see what goes on with this, but we're going to watch it closely for a short position. Let's do a little market cap update. Turn off these bands. So we are holding a decent support area. That is a promising sign. Now we also have a descending triangle. You can even consider this to be the triangle, but I'll take this into consideration. Now we're getting right to the pennant and the tip of this descending triangle. This is when things are going to get really interesting. We can either continue to bounce in a bullish nature and hopefully go up, or price might break down. And if we get a breakdown, we do have an area of interest with volatility sitting right under that area where these candles are. So those wicks are going to be our volatility areas. If this wanted to drop even more, we could see price go down to the $1 trillion area. The other case would be stopping around here at 1.1 trillion. Either of those would be valid support holds. I don't think it's going to get any lower than that. And yesterday we were talking about how we can go down to this $900 billion range. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think right around here is where we're going to see a lot more of this volume come in. You see the volume has been relatively low, so we're waiting for this to come back up. Now keep in mind the last time that the institutions bought was within this general area as well. So this is when we're looking to get a little price action, because right from this point we got a break and then we started to make all-time highs consistently before breaking out of trend and coming down to this ascending triangle. Now positive news is that the RSI is still under the 50, so it does have room to grow. It's technically bearish right now, but it does have a lot of impulse growth possibility. The STO RSI is in the oversold area, so that's great, looking to go back up and hopefully test the overbought region. All in all, we can hold a decent sentiment right now, but when you look at the Bitcoin chart, we're already kind of at the bottom. I was projecting yesterday we could get down to this 29,000 area. I think this is where a lot of people are going to do their buying. We haven't had any sort of body come down into this area yet. Even yesterday we closed down for a second and it was a fake out back up into the channel. So we haven't had any actual tests besides candle wicks under and into this 31,000 and under range, specifically 29,000, which was my sweet spot. And my ultra sweet spot, if everything continues to go bearish, is going to be 23,000. Now when we looked at the hour yesterday, we were talking about this inverse head and shoulders that was coming out on the Bitcoin 1 hour. Conveniently enough, it happened at the bottom of the channel as well. We did get a buy signal after the triple head and shoulders, and we did get a support hold that started to push back up into the channel, so that's a positive sign. Hopefully this inverse head and shoulders does play out and we start to push back up. Now Bitcoin, I don't see it doing any sort of crazy price break at the moment. If it wanted to break up, we could potentially see up to 32,000, push back down to 31,000, maybe push around here somewhere. And then this point is where it's going to get dicey. It can either come back down and retest here and push under, or we can have a price action that from this point will come up, test the support holds on this SR flip region, and then come up to test this area before we start to break back up into the channel. They are both possibilities right now. We are in a high volatility area, just kind of waiting out the storm. Every trade that we're getting in through the Discord group are short-term trades, which if you are in the YouTube video, I threw a link to the Discord if you want to jump in for free. Raven coin. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of volume here for sure, especially on the hourly. It's picked up quite a bit. It's made a nice little leap so far and it's remaining pretty harmonic. Let's put it to the test, bottom to top. Fill this out. We got right on the 6180. Move you up. Yeah, and then this next bounce would have been right at the 6180 as well. And you move this up. And we're currently in this little move here, so potentially we could see a breakdown in price, since it still if it wants to fulfill this harmonic pattern, it doesn't have to, but more than likely it's looking like it can. Now the volume has dropped a little bit, but the RSI is holding steady at the 50, and the STO RSI is still in the oversold area, looking to push back up. So hopefully this can recover. You know, some other projects right now that you can see are -10. It's when you know you're in a sort of volatile area, because some things are -10, some things are +11. You just kind of have to get lucky or do a lot of research on your tech analysis side and look for the projects that are hitting sweet spots. Let's see. What else are we looking at today? I honestly haven't done too much research on Raven Coin, to be honest with you. Alright, 93rd, 558 million market cap. That's solid. You can times 2 and still be just over a billion. 21 billion max supply. That's a pretty hefty chunk of coins. And a total supply right now of 9 billion, 44% of their circulating supply. It's finite, but there are 21 billion. Trading volume has been going up. Built on a fork of the Bitcoin node. Now it's in 2017, mining in 2018. Let's see, Raven Coin. You can tell they were around a little bit earlier than these other companies because their website's a little bit older. Ooh, using the gold and silver land deeds. Alright, at least they don't have lumber here. That's decent. Oh, wood, never mind. Different from Bitcoin. Total supply applies. So they're just trying to compete directly with Bitcoin, so they want to just compete with the dinosaur. That's cool. Let's see what their white paper is looking like. Protocol, blah 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 blah. Full asset awareness. Used for assets. Assets or tokens can be used for anything the creators of Magic can conjure. Tickets to an event such as Baltimore Ravens game with the ability to resell. I wonder if that's why they're calling it Raven Coin, because they're from Baltimore. That's a relatively interesting project. I mean, it's, like I said, part of the dinosaur species, so if they're trying to compete with Bitcoin, it's not necessarily saying too much, but if people want to throw their money at it, then so be it. I'm not going to stop them. Crowdfunding, mineable, because so it's a proof of work. Interesting. If you haven't checked the YouTube yet, I just released a video on Axie Infinity. You can see it popped up on all these top lists again, and Smooth Love Potion is also part of it, but it's a gaming NFT that's getting a lot of attention and making a lot of money and a lot of volume. Most visited, this thing is popping right now. I would definitely check it out. Meta Hero's still hanging out here. It's at 13 cents now, or 1 cent. 0.13, that's good. Going up still. Hash popping up on most voted in positive sentiment. Telcoin's back up here. It did really well so far. I'm surprised to see Doge isn't on here, but Doge was on here a little bit earlier. It is on most visited, but earlier today Doge was popping up. It is on trending search right now, so that is a positive thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just the mining rewards are probably pretty low too. It doesn't seem like they're trying to put out that much. I wonder if they've done a lot of halving and stuff since it's been out since 2018. Thorchain hanging out here after getting hacked. That's good. Doge Father. God, these coins are getting ridiculous on this recently added list. Let's see what's going on with CoinDesk. Bank of America still top. Paraguay's leaked crypto law. A depressing dud or too early to tell? Oof, that's a sight for sore eyes. Oh, that's a video, of course. We're not going to get flagged for playing your video. It's okay. Yeah, we're getting more Binance warnings from other countries. Lithuania, Hong Kong, which is rough because China is where Binance is based out of. So if Hong Kong is putting warnings up for Binance, that's not a good sign. So I don't really, oh, because they're in Seychelles now, so I guess they don't have to worry about it. But there are a lot of people that are cracking down on Binance and Tether, so it's not a positive sentiment for the market. They do hold a lot of weight. So if they continue to run into trouble, it could be like XRP with the Black Swan event. If you don't know what a Black Swan event is, a Black Swan event is when the market crashes for some random reason, for some fundamental analysis reason. For example, the XRP lawsuit was a Black Swan event. There were a lot of people that lost money because of that in other projects just because that brought the market down so much. Val. Validity. I saw it on that list. CoinGecko. Yeah, validity trending searches. That's the only spot. Oh, and it's the most visited right now at the moment as well. See, $11 million market cap, so this thing is fucking tiny. Or sorry, 11. Yeah, 11 million. That's really low. What's going on here? Oh, because we've been flatlining for a long time. That's about why. One year up 500. I hate when these are only available on these sketchy ones, though. I'm not going to put any money in. Like, Bittrex maybe, but I don't like these other exchanges. Definitely not Upbit or SouthX. Let's see. Validity Tech. 2014. Ugh. These old projects. One of the most capable multifaceted platforms available to date. Staking. 60 seconds every block. Yeah, I don't know about this. Just don't like these partners. And you're just showing the names. I mean, I guess that's good that they're putting their developers and their actual team on the top. But if you notice, they didn't actually put their CEOs or anyone. They just put their engineers and their analysts and their ops teams, but they don't actually have the CEO or anyone on here. Which is an interesting choice if you're going to be putting your team members on the website. Deadwood, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day so far. Old Doji, yeah. We are getting a little linger right now at the 19. Let's see if we can get a pull down to this 18, possibly low 18 area. If we can get a bounce over here, that's perfect because this still technically is the downtrend line. So I can extend it through here. And yeah, we're still following it from the top. So we should realistically see a support hold on top of this line. That would signal that we are moving in a bullish trend, hopefully. But it is a money price to be able to get at the 78.60. We all know that number is the sweet spot. So it's a patient waiting game right now to see if Doge wants to drop, see if I can get into another position. Besides that, I haven't necessarily seen anything that's caught my eye. And the market cap itself is looking relatively staggered. We are breaking over, and hopefully we can find a support hold on top of this line, but we shall see. That could be the first bullish sign for the market that we've seen in a while. CC Pad, yeah, KUS. I did a video on KuCoin community chain. I trade specifically on KuCoin. That's where I do all my leverage and futures. So I'm really big into KuCoin. I definitely like the project. And there are people that are saying that there's a lot of degenerates that are going to be putting their money into the KuCoin community just because it's really cheap for gas fees, and there's going to be a lot of new applications and things that are made through the community chain. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them moving forward. The KuSwap I've heard a little bit about, and there's so many different ones right now, and they just be popping up left and right. Atid, appreciate you. Thoughts about ETH direction? Let's see. Which, by the way, if you want to see my screen sharing and all that, I'm live on YouTube right now at the same time. So YouTube Stockaholics, you'll be able to find the live, and I'm streaming the face and streaming my actual screen so you can see my charts and my analysis. But with Ethereum, we're still sitting in a downtrend right now. Still a long-term downtrend. We're testing the top of the resistance, but we are in the overbought area on the RSI, or STO RSI. And the classic RSI is sitting over 50 in a major support hold, but that could drop relatively easily. Volume kind of spiked, but we haven't seen any consistency with the volume while price was increasing, which you want something to look similar to Doge, where the price was going up and the volume was exponentially higher than the rest of the time within the last week. So if ETH can break this major resistance right now at 1905, it's going to have to find support on the other side of this line, but more than likely it might have to retest the support hold around the 1855 area. Let's see, the 4 hour is relatively overbought as well. We did hit a buy signal, but typically when we get a buy signal with the stock bot, we'll get a little bit of a retest and a support confirmation after before we take off. Most of the time that's what you want to see, because you can see on these moves, if you would have tried to get in here, you might not have gotten out of time. Yeah, of course. Appreciate you. I wonder if ICP, oof, I don't even, should we open the ICP chart? Are we going to go down, we're going down this road. Hopefully finding a new floor. Oh, we got a little bit of a floor hold for ICP. We have some faith. So we got a critical support, aka the floor, and right now we're sitting in this major spot where the buy signal hit earlier. This technically would be up here. So fortunately and unfortunately for ICP, it looks like it's going to have to break over this major resistance at $34 essentially and hold a support over 34. If not, we could see it come back down and it's going to retest the support at 28. Main reason why I think it's going to do that is because we've only hit that line once, and usually you're going to have to find a support or a reconfirmation of some sort in order to confirm that price can move up, which we haven't gotten yet. So we'll keep our thoughts and prayers with ICP. Hopefully they can recover, and anyone that got in at $600, hopefully you guys can get that money back at some point. But for now, we're going RIP ICP. Pour one out for them. If you want to get the stock bot, I'll throw the link in the chat right now. It's under stockaholics.com. So the stock bot is essentially these buy and sell signals, as well as the stock bot RSI, which is a combination of the classic RSI and the stochastic RSI. Now the stock bot is fully customizable as well, so you can go through and change your HMAs, which is the whole moving average. It's a little more consistent than using an SMA or the EMA, the standard or the exponential moving averages or simple exponential moving averages. So we use the whole average instead. It's a little bit smoother, and the combination of that are the MA clouds, which are going to help with volatility. And the combination of these factors, along with what happens on the stochastic and classic RSI, is what's dictating the buy and sell points on these swings. Now, the more lenient you want this, if you switch this to 50, you'll get less signals. If you switch this, for example, if you're trading short-term or scalping, you can turn this down to 11, and you'll be getting a lot more buy and sell signals. I like 21, so we'll cancel and leave it at 21. I know 25 is also a very common number for people to use through the group. Fago 2LJS, what is that? What are you talking about, Fago 2L? Yeah, ICP for the ROI. Yeah, if you got it at the top on ICP, you can't even see it on this thing, but it's up there. Yeah, so some people did unfortunately buy in around the $600 area, and you just went, or as us friends on TikTok like to do, is whee all the way down this massive slide. Amp, yeah. Amp, I saw a lot of people putting money into it. The volume was relatively high the other day. Yeah, so when I was looking at it, it was over here, and I saw these volume spikes. Now it did drop out. Well, you're pretty close to 7860, actually, if you're doing Fibonacci. Yeah, so you did break under. It's technically out of the Fibonacci trend, so we are breaking into a downtrend. If we go in a little bit further, maybe we'll find a head and shoulders or something like that that might have triggered it. Yeah, so it is just a really ugly version of a head and shoulders, but you did get a head and shoulders on AMP. Where is my curve? So you have one shoulder, your second shoulder, and the head. And then you fell right into a consolidation channel, which could have held on the 7860 if it really wanted to, but we did break it down into the trend, into a downtrend, which is looking more like this right now. So you can extend up. Now some key areas for AMP if you want to look for potential buying spots. It's currently on one right now. This was a major buy position before it took off and made its first little impulse leg. Now the last minute ones are going to be a little bit under, so there's a potential buy at 3 cents, a potential buy. Yeah, so everything's going to be around 3 cents. Honestly, the high threes, anything around there is going to be a relatively decent buy-in for something like this. Now if it does continue to break down, let's say it bounces in here a little bit more, and we finally get a breakdown. It could find support and hold in this general area before we actually start to break back up, like that, for example. So we might get some nice little buy-ins down here at the low 3 cent range, but more than likely it's going to be a midpoint 3 or even the high 3s, just based on where this previous buy impulse was triggered. Now if I stick a fib from this move, this didn't even fulfill the entire 6180. It actually curved right before the 6180 and still managed to fulfill to take profit 3 on the next impulse move. So that was a solid position. The only bad part was that we had no steam coming up on the second leg. So it was a significantly lower high. That's like the coin only goes up but in reverse. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of hype around AMP. I know it was topping the list on CoinGecko for a couple weeks at least. Thank you. Let's see. Doge still on its way down. I want a good buy-in opportunity. Come on now. Let's creep on some other stuff and see what's going on. Get a little zoom out. Still in an ugly channel on Cardano. I'm not poking that with a stick yet. Dot still sitting on a downtrend. That's not pretty. Chainlink, at least you broke out of the downtrend. Hopefully looking to find support at this $15 region, but we'll see. We are triggering some buys, so that's a good sign, and this is on a 4-hour time frame, even though we are currently in overbought on the STO RSI and we're bearish on the regular RSI. But we'll see what happens with that. We could just be hitting this major resistance as we continue to move down and potentially go down to this $11 range. Yeah, we could do a little research on Ample. I've done some, but I can't honestly say that I'm an ample expert by any means. Do we have any futures traders in here? Any leverage guys? Which, by the way, if you haven't done it yet, there is a link that is pinned in the YouTube chat, a free link to the Discord group. If you're on TikTok watching this, go to the link in our bio. Join our Discord group for free. I'll give you a shout out right now, this second. So, would love you to have you join our family. Seriously though, we're at like 250 people right now. I'm super grateful for everyone that's in the group. Shout out to all you guys. Lee, Matt, you guys are the shit. Appreciate everything you guys have done so far and will continue to do. Obviously, you guys are amazing. Well, shout out to Sky, even though he's not here watching it, but we love him anyways. Ooh, I'm liking this. Let's see what Foul is working with right now. It's a pretty interesting position that it's in. I just can't trade futures on Foul, which sucks, but it's a relatively decent buying situation for them. Zero stop, zero swap. We're getting a nice accumulation and a little bit of a channel, but more so the Bollinger Band accumulation. If you were on the YouTube live last night, we went a lot into depth about what this means when we're getting into a tight accumulation. This is what you want to look for before we explode. If I put these Bollinger Bands on Doge, for example, I'll take this off. Let's go back to our Doge chart. And you can see price was coming down and it's staying relatively tight. Now, when I throw the Bollinger Bands on, you can see that we were getting to that point where we were going to have to break out in either direction. Now when I get down to the hourly, this is where you can start to see a big break on the Bollinger Bands, but we got relatively tight before crossing this EMA and hitting a major buy area before signaling on this major impulse move. Now we're at 18.8, continuing to move down. I am waiting to see if we hit 18 flat. If we hit 18 flat and start to sit at 18 flat for a little bit, I might get into a long on Doge. That's going to be the major support hold. It takes too long to mine ETH to take that chance. Yeah, I mean, ETH 2.0 is going to crush all of that too. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Let's see if I can find an article because it just popped out. It's concern ETC. So here it is. Cardano's Charles Hoskinson officially joins the board of directors at Ethereum Classic Cooperative. He's trying to make it competitive again with Ethereum when Ethereum goes to 2.0 because they're going to be completely getting rid of their mining. So Hoskinson is trying to undermine Vitalik once again. If you guys don't know, he was one of the original co-founders of Ethereum with Vitalik, and for whatever reason stopped doing that and created Cardano, and it's on a bunch of other boards of directors for other blockchains and so on and so forth. But this one's a direct shot because it's Ethereum Classic, and that's bringing the concept of him wanting to maintain the mining side of Ethereum instead of going to proof of stake like 2.0 is going to be doing. Yeah, ETC long term could definitely be huge. You're talking about a project that has a lot more tokens per se than a Bitcoin, but when that Bitcoin mining starts to go away and it's less, rewarding for those guys to do it, you're going to see a lot more people transferring over to Ethereum mining. The only problem with that is that the gas fees for ETC are probably going to be absurd. They're probably going to be way higher than what we're seeing right now, and that's just not, that's no bueno. Yeah, exactly. The OG code now, they're not going to change that. That's probably why Hoskinson wants to work with them anyways, because they're going to be maintaining that conservative view to it. For ETC, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's check it out. Let's see what we got. So right now you're sitting at $43, a $5 billion market cap. Oh, what did they say? 1K? Oh man, I mean, yeah, down the road for sure. If we're talking about 10 years, there's definitely the possibility. Because even to get to a $50 billion market cap, that's going to be a 10 times move. So that's $423 a token. So you would need a 30 times move, essentially, to get near. Oh, if it was 7K though, that would be way too high. 1K, maybe, because that's a little bit over $150 billion market cap. But unless they're trying to push up to $500 billion market cap, which is going to be interesting to see if they could. Who knows? They might pull it off. Ocean trend. Let's see what Ocean popping with. I want Waves to do something. Waves needs to go off. This thing has just been stagnant. Comp's doing a little work now. Sushi did really well today. ICP is starting to go green. And we're still in a pretty volatile area in terms of these bands. Ocean is just all over the place right now. Oh, wrong button. I mean, I guess the good thing is that we are kind of sitting in a smaller consolidation, but the consolidation that we're sitting in right now with Ocean is under a major SR flip area. So the SR flip is going to be the top. So you can see support, support. There was no support hold here. Now you have resistance, 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 resistance. Probably going to get another resistance at some point. But Ocean itself is kind of sitting in a similar situation as some of these other projects where if it can't break out, we could potentially see it go up to 50 cents, maybe even 73 cents, but it's going to have a little bit of work to do in order to get out of this little double channel that it's in, since technically speaking, this is also a channel as well right on top of it, so you have a stack channel. So, Ocean's going to have some fun, that's for sure. After the miners have to find work, they will hit ETC again, and we'll see it utilized. The trade should increase, leaving RBN in the wake. MTV as well, I think they're good. It makes 30% pumps. Yeah. Matt will really like that comment about Ravencoin, but I could see it. I could definitely see those miners trying to transition their equipment and everything to mine ETC and only mine ETC. The hash rate is definitely going to be higher than a Bitcoin, and if you're playing the long-term game, you have a much higher potential of mining ETC than you would mining Bitcoin. MTV. It's a KuCoin too. That's interesting. Looks like he might be sitting on a 7860 from this full impulse. If I'm not mistaken, this looks like a 7860, a little bit lower. It would have to be... Oh no, it didn't even actually reach the top. Huh. Yeah, that multivac is a very interesting one. Let's go to the daily. So we were stagnant for a long time. We consolidated from October basically of 2019 all the way to March of 2021, and then finally got an implosive move. Starting to make its way back down. We are hanging around the 7860, which is common for a massive impulse move. Now, if we actually wanted to go from... Some people like to go do the Fibonacci retracements from the top of the bodies of the candle. I do it from the actual wick itself, so I can stop myself from fake outs. But if you were to do it from here, you can see that we are hanging around the 7860 relatively strong. This is a major SR flip area as well, considering this point right here around 0.002 is going to be a stagnant point. That was a resistance before it flipped to a support, before it went into the impulse move. So if it wants to hang up above that, that's good. And then a secondary support for this is going to be around that 0.00148 range. So we'll see what happens with that. Definitely keep an eye out on it. The STO RSI is heading back down into oversold as well. The only problem with this one is that you're getting a lot of resistance at the 50 RSI, and the volume has really not been there at all. Ever since this impulse move, you've seen a little bit, but not enough to call it seismic activity. But with projects like this, you never know. They have a lot of upside, and if there's people that want to throw their money into it, then they're going to throw that money into it. Hey, there you go. It's a solid move with Raven. I was going to start mining them as well and doing things like that, but I have my helium hotspot. I just haven't set it up yet. I need to drive down to Miami and set that up. Give me some moonies. Alright. Huey95, welcome to the Discord family. Hopefully I said that right and didn't butcher it too hard. Welcome. Huey. You mean from like January in terms of like the market itself? David, we are just chilling right now. We got out of the Doge trade recently. We're starting to see a nice little pump back up. We got in last night around 17.4, closed out around 19.997 range. Everyone loves to see the receipt. So in our Discord group, we're running a futures challenge, $10 to $10,000. Right now, we just crossed over the $500 threshold. So we're 50 times the account. We started it during the dip. And you can see on here all that. So it was purchased at 17, sold off at 19. It was 102% move in total. Sorry, 112% move in total. So we were able to get a solid gain on a $100 entry with a $28 maximum loss with a stop loss, and ended up walking out with $121 up. So it was definitely a great buy opportunity. We are just patiently waiting for another opportunity to present itself. More than likely, we might get it a little bit later tonight. The crypto market cap is hitting a major resistance right now. So we're going to see in a little bit if this wants to hold a support. If it does, we could move up. Now, if we hit this resistance as well, we could push right back down to this 1.26 area. And that'll bring everything down. That's when we're going to short some positions. More than likely, we're going to short Doge because Doge has had the best move today and has the most room as a skyscraper to come crashing down. So we're keeping an eye out on this, seeing what happens. Getting a solid little push here. Not the buy-in I wanted, so I'm not going to get in yet. We're not going to let in that FOMO kick in. We patient traders around here. So if I want to get a shorting position right now, what I'm looking to see is either price stalls out around here and starts coming down. But what I really want to see is it to come up here one more time and throw another candle in this general area. Now, if I can add a short in this position while it's showing some resistance, we might be able to catch this down, because that will be the confirmation that this is an actual resistance point. So we're going to have to find it a support before we come back and retest this resistance. So my short position is going to be looking around 19, just a little shy of 20 on the way down. And my long position is going to be if price does come down and we hold around this 18-cent range, then I might add another long position for the next leg up. My stop losses will be tight, so if I get in, for example, at 20, let's do a short position. We can gauge what I would be going for and what that risk is. So if I get in at 20 flat, which is what I want to aim for. Oh, sorry, I went long position by accident. Short position. So if I get in at 20, we're going to put the target all the way down here to around the 18-17 range. And the stop loss for this is going to be a little bit shy of here. Now, based on this trade, we're looking at a 3 to 6 risk to reward ratio. Now, what that means is that if I was to successfully hit this trade, I could lose 2 other trades at the same risk and reward and still break even. Since we're playing the probability game, that's the best way to do your trades. And more than likely, if this does start to confirm and move down a little bit more, I'll move that stop loss to around here, and that automatically confirms that to a 14 risk reward ratio. So if we do hit our target of 17, a little bit shy of 18 cents, if we get under that to like the 17.9 range, it would take me 13 trades with that same risk reward ratio, and I could lose all 13 of those trades and still be able to break even from this one trade that I won. that's going to be the true value of doing the right risk and reward ratios. Thank you, Forex, for teaching me that one. I started as a Forex trader. I mean, technically speaking, I started back in 2010 as a stock trader, and then got into Forex, was doing a lot of pip trading, and then found crypto, got a little addicted, and been here since. Now, if we're doing a long position, if I want to buy in at the 78.60, for example, my first initial stop loss is going to be just shy of the previous lows, which is going to be right under here, and my target will be a little bit higher than where we're currently at, probably in this general area. That will be my starting target, so that's going to be a 5-to-2 risk reward ratio. If price continues to move up or does start to move up, I can slide this risk reward to the next possible support, which is going to be right down here, and I just increase that to a 20-to-2 ratio, so I can lose 19 trades and still break even if I hit one trade at this exact target. And that's an 18% move, which isn't anything crazy, and typically I can run a 10%. I like to run a 10% leverage, so this is well within my 10% leverage. I'm not going to lose out a lot of my money. I might be in a $100 trade, I might risk maybe $20, and at the end of the day I could be getting an 180 times move, so making $180 off of $100. So that's where this risk and reward is going to come into play. But it's looking right now that we're more than likely going to push up and hit a second resistance before we come a crashing down. That's what I want. I think we have the volume to do it. I mean, it did kind of drop in this last hour, but the volume is remaining here, staying relatively strong. So when I'm doing short positions, I like to find coins that already have a skyscraper, and what I mean by skyscraper is that the price had already made an impulse move, and you're starting to see these upper candle wicks that start to look like the antennas or tops of skyscrapers. And then more than likely you'll see another one come up on the side. It's either going to create a lower high or we're going to get a double top in this general area. That would be my signal and my confirmation that we're probably going down. Put a tight little stop loss and watch the skyscraper come all the way back down to test a support somewhere. And the good part is that even if it hits down into here and hits this trend line, you're still bullish. So this can still go up. And if it goes up from its current positions, you're looking at a take profit 3 of around 23 cents, a take profit 2 of 22 cents, and a take profit 1 of 21 cents. If this wanted to go into a bullish sentiment and come down to the 78.60 and hold support, and then fulfill retracement, and then go all the way back up into the next wave of its fib retracement. We're starting to see a lot of selling pressure though, that's for sure. Are there any other projects you guys want to check out? Any charting, any TA, if you want to do some fundamentals, if you want to look into some new stuff, something that you heard about on Twitter. Because 80% of the trading game is waiting, so while we patiently wait for something interesting to pop off, I'm going to double chart this actually. We're We're going double doozy right now, and my second chart is going to be a TMC chart because I want to make sure that we're tracking total market cap as well. No. I'm watching this move on Doge. We have this major downtrend from TMC that looks like it might be broken or trying to be broken. That has its own descending triangle formation. I don't know why it's changing both when I do this. There we go. Jeez, that was getting crazy. So looking at market cap as a whole, we really haven't gone down too far. This 1.12 is essentially where we've been holding our major SR. We haven't even gotten near that area yet. Sitting a little bit north, but we have had a single candle touch, but more than likely we could see this come down and test the support because this is an SR flip that has yet to be retested since we impulsed. So that's an interesting spot to check out. Doge, where'd you go? Hopefully that's not true, but we do have a descending line on this, so we're going to watch closely as well. We got a CHZ request. What up, Magnos? Hope you're having a great night. Let's get a little single pane and get some CH cheesy on here. Ooh. Okay. So we're breaking out a little bit. That's a solid sign. We were in a little bit of a Bollinger Band accumulation. It got a little bit smaller. We are starting to break out of the top of the band. This is a 30-minute. Let's go to a 4-hour and see how we're looking macro. We're starting to pull up. We might get a buy signal soon. We got a lot of volume here, but not much activity per se. So that might have been the first initial sign of a seismic activity. We also have a higher low. So here's your lower low and then your higher low. And this is starting to curve back up. You are getting a little bit of a flash though, so that's a good sign. We'll get down a little bit closer and see what's going on. But the RSI is looking to break over the 50, move back into bullish territory on the top side. Your STO is trying to move out of the oversold and retest an overbought area. So you do have a lot of impulse area and a lot of move for impulses. Now, based on the Bollinger Band, we do have a lot of space. I mean, ideally, you do want to see it be a little tighter, but that doesn't mean that we can't come up and retest this 26-cent range. But you want this band to be a little bit tighter before you get a serious impulse move. But it is relatively tight compared to the other areas. Like, we've been sitting in this accumulation channel for a little bit now. Now going into the hourly from previous move. Bottom to top. So from the bottom to top, including the fib retracement, we fell perfectly on the 78.60, just a little bit lower, but we are still technically in trend. As long as you don't break under 100%, your Fibonacci is still in play. So we stayed within that range. We stayed at the 7860, which is typical for an impulse move. So in terms of harmonics, this thing definitely can keep going up and fulfill its retracement. It hasn't broken out of any trend yet. And if you're looking at a short-term trend, it would have been this line down to the 7860, including these candle wicks. And you can see that we're finally starting to get a little bit of a support hold. We cross over the bullish side of this trend line, and we're starting to move up. Now, we do have a buy signal already. This could have been our confirmed buy. Everything is looking relatively good for Chili's. We might get a minor resistance here, but as long as the market wants to continue moving up, this can move up. But everything is dictated by the market, so we'll see what it lets us do. But in terms of what the potential has for this, it's relatively high. It looks like we had an inverse head and shoulders here that triggered this first impulse move, which we came down and we double tested the 7860 for support. More than likely we might see, let me get my path. If I was to guesstimate, just from what I see here, we're sitting at the top of the Bollinger Band. We might want to pull down a little bit more, maybe come up and back down a little bit, and then we can start to break up. That'll be our bull side. Now the other side of that, I don't necessarily know which way it's going to bounce, so we'll just draw it this way just to do it. It could look something like this. And that's going to be your bear side. We are in volatility areas, so that's why this thing can just be bouncing around. And this is a major support hold for it. If we do break under, we might get a hold if we get a breakdown at this 23-cent range, but more than likely if we get a strong impulse breakdown, 22 cents is going to be where we're looking to hold. If we break this down on a long-term scale, let's even go to 1 hour, or sorry, 1 day, take off the BBs. Even based on the dailies, around here is going to be a last minute and a last resort, and then the all-time low it can get to is going to be in this general area around 17 cents. So like everything else, just make sure if you're getting into trades, have a tight stop loss. Don't over risk, all that fun stuff. But I do like Chili's. It's going to continue to get really good rep. It likes to blow up with the NFTs and the DeFi, which the NFTs are starting to pick up in terms of trading volume within the NFTs and people actually getting onto NFTs, and just the general NFT talk on social media is starting to pick up again. So hopefully that can be one of the triggering factors to get the market to move back up. But right now we're just sitting around waiting for this guy to let us know if we want to find a support hold on top of this line, or if we've just been in a fake out ready to go down. I'm going to take a little food break. I appreciate you guys. I will probably be on a little bit later tonight. I'll be posting in the Discord group. If I decide to jump on, it'll probably be around 10 or 11 Eastern time PM. But appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for being here. And I will catch you on the next one.